My name is still Emmanuel Ebo, your favorite very tall black man on the microphone. And today, as usual, I've got somebody special, the Texas herself, Sonia, in the studio with me. Sonia, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing lovely. Thank you for having me again.
I mean, it's showing on your face.
Oh, please.
You're glowing.
Oh, please.
I'm not glowing.
Well, I am glowing, but not
Uh,
because of I'm here. Just I glow. That's it.
you have to bring out your shoulder pad.
No, I will not.
Anyway, everyone, they will have a very important topic to discuss. Of course, every day we discuss important topics, but today, this one is super, super, super important. And then I'm going to go on a quick break. When we come back, I am going to introduce the topic of conversation today. Welcome back to Speak Right, aka Creative's Corner, NYC Radio 88.3 FM Abuja. And today, we're going to talk about words that people throw around, especially here in Nigeria, where we just use words anyhow. This might be a series because they'll focus on just one word, and that word is, some people say it's controversial, but I don't know what is controversial about it, please. It is feminism. I know you dropped like a bomb on some people's ear right now. Sonia.
Definitely, yeah. I can just imagine some people saying, they've come again.
They've come again.
Feminism. What is feminism? Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know what feminism is. Or do you just say you're a feminist or that you hate feminism without even knowing what it means? Because I think it's one of those words that have gone round with so many wrong, negative connotations. People say that feminists are women that don't shave. Others say feminists are women that hate men. Others say different kind of things that people say about
Other than
feminists
what
and
actually
what
it
it
is.
means. You know how they say you actually how they say it. You give the dog a bad name to hang it, right? Some people hate something that can just attribute it to many wrong things just to be able to put it in the wrong perspective or in the wrong place where it's not supposed to be. So what is feminism? If you ask me, I think it is equality, gender equality, or even just equal rights and opportunities for men and women. And but many Nigerians actually, especially women, go about using this word. Some say they are feminists when they are not feminists. And the first people on my list today is Twitter warlords. You know how I call them warlords? Actually, warlords. They are there waiting for you to say anything
With their keyboard.
with their keyboards, and they are off, typing. You're such a how they say it, a patriarchal, this one,
Misogynist.
everything. I saw a particular person who complained about how her kitchen was poorly designed, this one. People are then that comment saying that a kitchen must be designed by a man. They don't know that kitchen is supposed to be like it's a sign of patriarchy. So for them, women deserve no blame for anything. Whatever happens to anybody anywhere, it's the fault of men, and they're on Twitter every time,
Yeah.
looking out to fight. I don't know if you have any experience like that. Have you ever seen them?
We've literally seen so many of them where it's like no, there's no sort of what you call this word, where you are supposed to take responsibility
Responsibility, yeah.
for your actions. There's nothing like that for women anymore. It happens a lot on Twitter. Something just happens. Somebody brings up something, and nobody decides to really look at the facts of the case of the matter. Just straight up bashing on the men, this, that, whether they are right or they are wrong. If they're wrong, okay, that's explainable and excusable. But even in cases where maybe the woman is wrong, the woman can never be wrong. This man did this and that. Sometimes even before we have an evidence for a case, we're already jumping into solutions. We see that a lot of people on Twitter jumping into not solutions, jumping into conclusions rather, and just saying, okay, the man did this. I'm sure this happened. I'm sure that happened. And the thing about this is that these people they're very hard to argue with.
I'm telling you.
They're extremely. In fact, if you argue with them, you argue with them at your own peril because there's no winning them.
It's almost like you're both coming from two different sides of the pole, like north and south, so different.
You can't win them. That's just how it is. You can't win them. They've decided that whatever they are saying, it's not just enough that they've come up with these ideas, but it's the fact that they feel that they can also not be wrong with their opinions or with their notions, which is very, very funny. It's also what we've had a lot in social media lately, how people feel like once you say something, they'll cancel you immediately. Nobody can make mistakes. Nobody can be excused. Nobody can be corrected. What you said last year must be the same thing you still hold as your view or your worldview 10 years later. It must be. It can never change. So who you were that year is who you still are. So these women will never forgive you if you come up with anything. In fact, you can come up with something that is not related to maybe the issue of feminism or patriarchy, and they'll find a way to like circle
Link it
back
to
to feminism and
feminism and
patriarchy.
all of that.
So yeah, we have those people, and often it's a bit sad because the issue of feminism is something that many women have stood upon to fight for, and people don't even understand how far it has come with even suffragettes fighting for voting rights for women. Feminism is that. It boils down to those very, very big issues. People fighting for equal pay in organizations, people fighting for women to have, managerial positions. But we end up muddying what feminism is by arguing on trivial matters. Every day there's one new, should women do this or not do that on the TL, and everybody's just going heads and, tails for it, and forgetting what the real big pictures we're fighting for, the real big problems, that there are still places where girls are not going to school, that there are still families where girls are being mutilated. There are still families where, there's just a lot of things happening to women that because of how we've muddied what feminism is and what we've literally. There are women before who have stood on what feminism was, brought it to the point it was, and then it felt like 21st century women hijacked it, turned it upside down. Not just women, even some men hijacked it, turned it upside down, and just made a very big shame of what these women had fought for. If you know the things that suffragettes went through to get us to vote as women, or people who have allowed women to enter into big spaces now, you would respect feminism more. But because we come on the TL every day, changing from that to as a woman you should not do this, as a woman you should not do that, maybe things that will probably just be conversations between you and your partner, has become things that the whole social media has to now put their own, give their 2 cents on. And it's just very funny because we don't have to give our 2 cents on everything. Some things are just between you and your partner and are not issues of feminism or patriarchy. They're just you, your partner, or your future partner. Because some of these issues are, as a woman, would you do this when you are dating somebody? Would you do this in a distance? No, that's between you and understand there's a place of maybe having conversations, circles to talk about this. But it easily ends up just, exploding to something that becomes very ugly and never really going as in settling on important issues. So yeah. Twitter warlords.
If you're a Twitter warlord, please, this is your sign to change. Don't focus on the trivia.
You can be a warlord, but just fight for causes that really, really do matter.
And not try to link everything to patriarchy and feminism and how women are oppressed. Of course, there are real issues.
Women are oppressed.
There are real issues to be focused on, but don't link everything to patriarchy and feminism. And this second group that I'm going to mention now, actually related to the first one, I call them Team Women Are Better. So Sonia, do you think women are better than men?
I think that it depends on the thing we're talking about. We've had even in situations where in a couple of sometimes there's situations where some women are better than men in some cases. We've had some kind of work environment. I remember hearing something about there's a kind of thing you do when you're doing phones, and they don't like employing men for that because they feel like women have better like calmness and concentration for that. It just depends on what you're doing. We've had maybe situations over the years where they say basket makers will be women, this will be for men, but it depends on the jobs and all. But on a
skills.
On a generally
characters now, maybe character traits, how people behave, behavior and all of that. You think women behave better? You think women, because I've seen people who actually say, for example, when leaders make mistakes, they say, had it been was a woman that was our leader now, things have been different. Somehow they think that women are better in positions. Things that require just skills and experience.
Okay.
They don't have to do with gender, but some
because
women
of how
who
women
hide under feminism say that women are better.
I understand that there might be some extremes to this argument, but because of how over time women have had to do kind of twice as much as men would have to do to get to where they are, they kind of end up being better sometimes in a particular position. For example, that women are marginalized in getting to managerial positions, top positions. It would end up it would just be a no-brainer that when she gets there, because of how much more she has had to work than her male colleagues, that she might actually be better. It's actually a result of the marginalization that they have gone through, the amount of war and efforts they have had to fight to get to where they are. In some cases, we have women being better than men. But I understand that in this, what we're talking about is actually maybe the group of women that just come off like a trajectory where they don't want to agree that men can take up any space anymore and everything begins to be about men. the fight for feminism is not that we're trying to eradicate men. It's to say that women can do just as much as men.
Yeah.
And no offense, maybe if they even have the same opportunities, they might do better, because we've seen some cases where some women are doing better. And it's the feminism topic is obviously a very broad
Yeah,
one,
it is.
because you have cases where we've had good female leaders back in the years. I think in some Asian countries, they were doing a lot better. They really, really revolutionized these countries, and they even had much more criticism than men. Yes, was like that. We had a case where I remember reading one time. I can't remember what president of what country, what Asian country, but she went out for like a girls' night or something. There was much more banter on her just because she went out. She had breakfast. There was always something that they were just throwing at her. It's not really easy being a woman in politics, I understand. But what we're focusing on today is obviously for the people who go off at the extremes. Women are better than men, and they just want to like put them everywhere, even to the point where they might not be deserving, and they still say no because we just believe women are better than men. And it means that in every argument, men can no longer be heard. They don't just go off saying, as long as you're bringing this argument of a man and woman, it must be the woman that is right because women are better than men. So obviously that's not like a good balance, because at the end of the day, we're supposed to see, like, check both people, see what's up, and yeah.
So if you ask me, I think all human beings are flawed. We all have our flaws,
Definitely.
irrespective of gender. Anybody can make mistakes. Anybody can have, will I say, weaknesses. So women are not necessarily better than men in terms of, let's say, skills, character. Leadership, for example, has to do with the amount of experience you have. Like you mentioned, people that are marginalized, and over time, they had to stay more at a particular position before they got to where they are. They might have had so many experiences along the way that build. So that's different. But naturally, leadership is based on skills, your experience, not
Yeah,
gender.
although some people still argue that because of a woman has, by nature, Loki, the whole trait of, just being a, not provider, protector, kind of, not in the male protector form of, ensuring that nothing harms people, but just guiding people, because they've been nurtured to be guides to upcoming generations, to children. It just follows that sometimes they might be better at some positions than their counterparts.
If we go there, men also have been nurtured to actually take the lead, take the charge in every situation. When you're growing up, if you have sisters, for example, when your father is going to be like, make sure you lock the door, make sure you do this. But so men have been nurtured too to take the lead, take charge all the time, be at alert. So that too can be an advantage for
the
men
male
if
side.
we go there. So, but in politics, nobody cares about how you were raised. Just
True.
what have you done for yourself? What have you done for where you're coming from, for example? So it depends on your experience and your skills, and that's just about it. So please, for those category of women who think they are feminists but they are not, the phone said that women are better than men. Obviously, they are not. Even neater, they say that women are neater than men. Sonia,
That is not a lie. Is that a lie? It's not a lie
I don't
now.
know. I don't know.
It's not a lie. That one
It's
is
not a lie.
It's not a lie.
Do you have brothers?
Yes, I do. So I can unequivocally say that yes,
So
they are.
so you are on a national radio and telling the world that your brothers are not neat.
No, the question is, are they neater?
But
Not
yeah,
that they
let's
are
go.
not neat. It's just, are they neater?
Well, let's go
Eh-heh.
on a very quick break.
Okay,
When we
no
come back,
problem.
talk about the rest of the two categories of women who actually hide under feminism to, do a number of. If you just tuned in, we're talking about words that people misuse, and today we're focusing on feminism. So far, we talked about two categories of women who hide under feminism to perpetrate what we might even call evil. And the third on our list today, Sonia, is do you know what they call misandry? Like,
Yeah.
people that actually hate
Hate.
men.
That's a hatred of
Yes,
men.
hatred for men. He just hates men for whatever reason. Maybe due to several heartbreaks or whatever reason. Anyway, maybe you had a very terrible male boss in the past. Somehow you developed hatred for men.
Could even
for
be
whatever
maybe
reason.
based
It may
on like
be.
family,
Yeah.
how you grew up, maybe someone's dad, or it could actually be anything. For some people, it's based on emotional. They've had maybe traumatic experiences that have actually led to the hatred of men.
Yeah.
People maybe who have been molested, raped, very, very traumatic experiences. Then for other people, it's just been what they fed themselves with over time. Because there's a way they say what you feed yourself with is what you kind of become. So you keep on watching or consuming materials of women who hate men. Over time, even without having a personal experience of yours, it's possible that you could also start hating them. For example, every day you're seeing that dogs are hard to train. Dogs are hard to train. Don't keep dogs as pets. Eventually, somebody tells you, "Hey, I have a dog for sale." The first thing you're going to call that's going to come to your head is, I heard that dogs are hard to train. I'm not to keep dogs for pets. So we had things like that over the years, even for very, very young, impressionable women who have no idea what feminism is, who come on the TL for the first time, maybe in their early, early introductions to adulthood.
Yeah.
And you have maybe other women who seem, and the thing about these women is that they always seem to talk in a way or type in a way as though they are very knowledgeable. So you come on Twitter or whatever media, and even just maybe listening to them on podcasts or something, and you hear them just going on and saying men are evil, men are this, men are that. And maybe we've actually had real cases where men have not really been kind and maybe are, worthy of some of those titles. But there's just a way they make it out to be that it ends up being a hatred for men. So very early, some of these young women end up hating men. So you have cases of where you ask someone, no, I hate men, I hate them so much. Okay, have you had any personal experience? There might be no personal experience. There might be no personal thing that's happened to them, but they already just hate them from what they have heard. Which is why I think it's very important that everything we're hearing, we try to censor as much of it, or try to go back and really sit down at the end of the day and say, what did I hear today? How much of it did I consume? How much of it do I believe in? Because if you don't have a moment of your day where you take stock of what you've listened to, watched, or heard, you end up just consuming something and you don't know, but your subconscious is building up on that thing. And eventually, maybe somebody comes to talk to you for the first time, a young man, you suddenly just believe that he has bad plans for you. But I understand that as women, we have to be more cautious. It's just, unfortunately, how the world is. Because there have really been very terrible stories of men doing unkind and unmentionable things to women. However, it begins to transcend to a sort of, unhealthy border where you just, in fact,
become a man hater.
Like really, really, really bad. You won't have nothing to do with them, totally hate them. They're at your workplace, even if they're nice, you are like, nice where? This liar, this you just begin to think that everybody has something against you. It's not really the best. But those are the kind of people that have hidden under feminism to kind of change what feminism is. Because feminism, from dictionary explanation, is equality of the sexes in the economical, financial, political. So that means in politics, women and men are equal. A woman should be able to run for the same office as a man is running. If a president is a man this year and a woman comes out to run, we should give her as much regard and support as we would a male counterpart. We should not just marginalize her and discriminate her because of her sex. Oh, because she's a woman, she cannot be a leader. That's wrong. Same thing for economical. If a woman is earns a position, you've seen her resume, her CV, she deserves that. You should not say, because she's a woman, I'm not going to employ her.
Or if you're paying people 10,000 naira for
yes, we've heard that a lot.
Pay them
you pay a man higher just because he's a man. Even when that woman is maybe doing much more than he's doing, you don't care. So we're talking about equality in terms of financial, political, economical, even in education. You cannot come and say you're going to have more boys in your school than girls, even if you have maybe the same amount of people trying to come into the school and they're both on the same level. So that's really, really what it is. But these women have come to say, no. Feminism is hatred of men. We are trying to remove men from the equation, totally eradicate them from the population of the world, things like that. So that's a wrong idea of what feminism is. That is what feminism is not. It's not a hatred of men.
And that can be quite counterproductive because feminism needs
men to fight, because allies. We've seen that in the fight for feminism, we have not necessarily been able to do it all alone. We've also needed, sadly, we found out that men sadly don't listen to women. It's unfortunate to say, but we found that that's the truth in some cases. That that we found that they listen to themselves a lot more than they listen to a woman. So it's very possible when, as a woman, for example, in a workplace, you go and tell your boss, okay, sir, this and this and this and this and this. You might find out that if he's a male boss, he might not listen to you as easily as if a man comes to meet him and says, sir, good afternoon, no, this one. So I was thinking about this now, we should do this. You just be like, I brought up the same idea and he's listening to a man, but he didn't listen to me. Sadly, we find that this is what happens, meaning that we cannot eradicate men from the fight in feminism. We're going to need them to, because we're still a long way from the equality of sexes, the balance of sexes in economical, political, financial spaces, meaning that for a long time, men will still be ruling things, meaning that we have, especially maybe in African countries, you still have a very, very high percentage of men being in political power, meaning even if you want to get anything to pass, to law, to bill, it will be the men there fighting for you or agreeing for you. If you want to start saying, okay, women should be able to pass bill for fellow women, it is the men in that legal office that can say, yes, they are right, they should be able to do it. So we're always going to still need men as allies until a time comes as such where we have a good enough balance.
Yeah, just like you said, we share the space together. There's men and women in the world. If you're trying to get less men to rape, or if you're trying to eradicate rape, for example, you can educate women all you want, wear these clothes, be at the right time. But what if you don't change
which
the
is really
men,
not going
the
to do
men and
anything
their
until the men
mindset, how they see
change.
women as objects? Nothing will change. No matter how you cover yourself, we see people who are actually, I don't want to go there, but who are fully covered, but they still got raped. We see people who spend time with their friends, their male friends, very good friends, friends of 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, and they end up being raped. So there's really no change if you don't change the men. So if you can't arrive at where you're looking at if you don't involve the men, if you don't actually try to bring men into this so-called movement, if you might call it that, feminism. So feminism is not hatred for men. It is not misandry. If you hate men, you are simply a misandrist. Please bear your name with a full chest and don't hide under feminism to cause trouble and the problem for other women who are truly feminists. So yeah, and the final people on our list today. So now this one I call them the anti-femininity gang. They think that because I now identify as a feminist, that means I should no longer be feminine. But feminism and femininity are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
You can be feminine and still be feminist. So you see women who actually want to wear very big pants and very awkward coats, or really answer kings on social media instead of queen. But the whole idea of feminism is to be who you are and be respected for being a woman. You don't need to change your gender or change your identity to be respected. You can be feminine, be a woman, and still be paid what you're supposed to pay. Be Get what you deserve as a woman.
Yes.
Get all the rights and opportunities.
Because
not
we've
to
seen that
change
happen
your
over
gender.
time,
Yeah.
even in the fight for maybe economical spaces, financial spaces, where women have said things like, oh, they had to just be more respected or to be taken more seriously. They toned down on their femininity.
Yeah.
And it's really, really sad that, because that's not what we're supposed to do, but it's sad that that's happened. People might take a woman who looks more like them, more like the men, more seriously than a woman who just maybe decides that she's feminine and she's feminine. Like nothing is going to change her femininity. So we've had maybe some women who don't understand that you can be feminine and still be a feminist. We've had cases like that. So because they have a misunderstanding of this concept, they decided that they just hate feminism and that no, feminism is a bad movement per se. So you hear women saying that, no, I will never be a feminist. God forbid I'm a feminist. So that I will not start dressing like this or talking like this. I will not.
I will not have children.
Yes,
or
that's
something
just
like
a
that.
poor understanding of what
Yeah.
feminism is. You can be feminine, you can wear your lipsticks, wear your lip gloss, do your hair whatever way you want, choose bright colors and still be feminist. As a matter of fact, feminism is supposed to allow you, like you said, be who you are, be a woman and still be allowed to take up spaces, take up political spaces, take up economical spaces, take up spaces in education, anywhere, be respected. Nobody has to call you, suddenly change your name from Mrs. This to someone else just because you're doing well as a woman. You should not downgrade your femininity because you're doing well as a woman. No, feminism is not doing that. So we have women over time who have confused the idea of feminism to mean that you cannot be feminine and be a feminist. So it's either they are feminist or they are feminine, and that's not true. Like you said, it's not mutually exclusive. It can exist together. In fact, it's supposed to kind of exist together because you are a woman. We should see that you're a woman and still winning, still doing things, still doing. If you decide that okay, bright colors are not your thing, that's still fine. If you're not a feminine kind of looking woman and that's what you like, it's still okay.
It's your choice.
It's still your choice, but you should not have to change being feminine just because you want to be a feminist.
Feminist, no.
That's not what feminism is.
At all. Time to listen to us on today's episode of Speak Right, aka Creative's Corner. Thank you, Sonia, for taking our time. Of
Thank
course,
you, Ima, for having
You
me.
had no option anyway.
Oh,
It's
please.
compulsory. You have to
I will not be here next week.
I'll come and drag you from your house.
All right.
Well, thank you, listeners, and thank you for your time. Until next Tuesday, my name is still Emmanuel, and I had Sonia and still with me today. And we are saying good day and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Bye.